Hey, cosmic superstars, welcome to Honestly. My name is Teo, and yeah, just welcome. So, I just wanted to slide in a little bit of a warning. This video might be, nah, I think it will be highly triggering for some because today we are talking about excuses and, playing the victim. So, I really wanted to, warn people right now. And for those of you who are new here, my channel is about having honest conversations, and honest conversations aren't always going to be easy. They can be triggering, but please understand that the intent is not to hurt or make anyone feel bad or guilty or ashamed. My intent is to shine a light on things that aren't serving people so they can move forward in life, so they can let go of certain behaviors that are holding them back. So please understand that although this video will be triggering, it's not because I'm trying to hurt you, it's because I want to help you. And yeah, to those of you who watch until the end, pat on the back for you guys. And to those of you who don't, it is what it is, because I guess when you're ready, you're ready. When you're not, you're not. And I'm not here to push anything. I'm just here to be the messenger. And yeah, and it's really about the message. So let's start with the message. So today's video is actually about, making excuses and how it's not healthy to play the victim, not anymore anyway. And it's time that we shifted gears and moved away from being the victim to the victor, from the person that's always complaining and saying it's not fair, to the person like, yeah, like just going out there and acting and just moving forward in life, like becoming successful. So I meet a lot of people and I always hear very similar sort of complaints, negative talk about how hard it is to, attain a job or get from A to B, and yeah, just become successful. And yeah, because I pick up a lot of patterns and, I'm very observant, I just feel like it's a lot of complaining and not enough doing. And I just feel the need to really come on today to really talk about this and highlight this area, because I feel like this is an area that if people just worked on this, it would be so, so helpful for them. And, I really want people to just shine, just explode, just expand, just be the best versions of themselves. So, yeah. Um, Let me give you first a few examples. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'll try to keep it short, but I've noticed a lot of my videos are going really long, but I can't help it, right? I'm just going with the flow. So anyway, a lot of excuses I tend to hear are things like, "Ah, I don't have the money to invest in myself or to do this course or do that course or to travel. And yeah, so I can't grow, I can't move forward, or I don't have the connections or have the friends or know the people that can help get me into this, role or door, get me into this job and open up the door for me. Or, I don't know where to start. And I've tried everything, that that comment there we'll have to talk about in a moment. But that I've tried everything. Have you really? And yeah, and also other types of excuses. But yeah, I just want to highlight the fact that victims or people make a lot of excuses for why they're not moving forward, for why they're not changing, for why they are not shifting gears. Now, at the root of it all, I certainly feel there's a lot of fear of change, fear of moving out of your comfort zone, fear of the unknown. And, it's understandable because I once was that victim too. I was once very scared of, going out of my comfort zone and doing all these things. But let me tell you something. The moment I went out of my comfort zone, I felt so much freedom. I felt so much bliss. And I realized there was so much more to life and that I was so much more capable than my negative mind had told me. So, yeah, I really want people to understand that on the other side of fear, there's just so much more out there for you. And I just really want you guys to get the courage to do the things and stop making excuses. And, for those of you who say, oh, I don't have money, well, my answer and task for you is, well, go out there and make money. And then I have people who look at me, by the way, and be like, well, you make so much money. Of course you can afford to do things, but I don't. I only make this much. And my thing is, well, first, I've been on this journey for a long time, and it's taking me a while to get where to get a while to get me to where I am today. So I'm telling you now, perhaps now is not the time for you to, invest in these courses. Perhaps the real task for you is to work harder. And I don't mean by like work your ass off, but I mean like just make some sacrifices and, get a better job and do better for yourself. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, they are where they are because they have more money. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure they didn't always have money, right? These people, or me, myself, and I. Like, in the past, I made $7 an hour. Like, I was in hospitality. I didn't make that much. However, I continued to work. I continued to believe in myself. I changed. I went out of my comfort zone and did roles that I never thought I could do. And lo and behold, I could. And I excelled and moved forward through that avenue. So I just want people to understand that you can't make the excuses that I can't afford to, I don't have money. It's like, well, then go make the sacrifice, go out there and make money. I mean, there's so many jobs out there that you could do, like even like just little jobs. Like, and what I mean by little jobs, like, be a waitress or be a retail assistant. Like, try those first. Just make something, right? Don't just be like a bum at home. Like, seriously, I always think that people who like choose not to work and stay at home, like I just feel like that's such a waste of human potential. Because what you don't understand is you learn so much through the workplace, because in the workplace you learn things like social interactions, you learn skills to help you to survive, how the world works better. And those who continue and choose to stay at home and be like bums, just unemployed, it's like it's such wasted potential. Really go out there and make money. And if you don't want to work for anyone, then at least try to find some sort of creative outlet. Think of some sort of business idea, like create something. Don't waste your human magical potential. Like, it drives me nuts when I hear about people being unemployed and not even trying and then making excuses and then just happy to just like receive government like funding. I'm just like, why? You could do so much more if you just made an effort. And I also feel that maybe these people who choose that path to be unemployed, it's because they have self-worth issues. They choose not to believe in themselves or their skill sets, and that's really, really sad. But I really hope that you go out there and just give it a try. And if one job doesn't work, doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Go try something else. There's so many different jobs out there. There will be something that sparks you up. And even if it doesn't spark you, because, when you're beginning your first jobs and stuff, it's never fun, but you do it because, to get the money, right? But in time, you start to realize what you like, and then you move towards that later. But yeah, so please don't use the excuses, I don't have money, that's why I can't invest in myself and things like that. Well, like I said, you can go out there and make money. And if there's a course that you really, really wanted to do, there are ways that you can get money. You can ask your family, ask your friends, ask people you really trust. Okay. That's the key thing. Ask someone that you really trust and someone that is not going to use it against you. And what I mean by that is I made this mistake, right? I borrowed money off someone who I thought I could trust and that was a friend. And, I just borrowed money because, so this was my strategy, right? I had this big ass credit card bill back in the day, like maybe 10 years ago or something. Anyway, I had this very big credit card bill, and every month it was it was very hard to pay off the interest on this, or pay off this credit card bill, because every month the interest kept coming in and taking half the money that I was putting in out. Like, I put 500 in, but 2 or 300 would come out. So it's like I could only put 200 in, and I was like, oh, and then being the intelligent person that I am, I researched on how to sort of reduce that or like find ways to, get rid of that. And then there was a recommendation like if you have someone that has, spare funds lying around and they're happy to lend you money, and you can borrow that money with no interest if it's someone you really trust and you have that connection, right? So I did that. I borrowed a large sum of money from someone who I thought was a friend, a trustworthy friend, so I could pay off this credit card, and then I would pay the friend directly back. And and we agreed that I would pay it off within 1 year, and I was paying it off. And then about months in, she told me, this friend went and told me, he's like, hey, I need you to sort of like return the money sooner, in another month or two. Do you think you can do that? And for me, I was like, yeah, actually I can, because I have the money. Actually, I do have the money, but I was just slowly paying off because I'm a strategy person, right? And yeah, so I was like, yeah, sure, that's easy. That's, I'll have it all ready for you. And yeah, and in 2 months' time, I gave her the money back. And the reason she asked for money back, because she was having issues with money. But the interesting thing is, this is what I didn't know until much later. She went around telling people that I borrowed her money. And for me, it's like, number one, that's a communication and agreement between you and me. You don't need to tell people. But the thing is, I'm not embarrassed by that or anything like that. I was just more like, why are you just going around telling people that? And it's funny because she made it. I could tell that she made it because it came through a third party. A third party had told me, he's like, oh, yeah, I heard you borrowed her money. And I was like, and the way that it was played out to me, I realized this friend, who is no longer a friend, made it seem like I was really poor and, I was having really tough financial issues. And I was like, no, I wasn't having financial issues. I was just sick and tired of, putting money in and having the interest take out half of it. And I was just like, oh, I just need to stop this. I need to like halt it. Right. But she made it out like I was poor. And then what I had noticed that is, after that, she, like, when I met her friends or anything, like mutual acquaintances, whatever, they would treat me like I was poor. It's like, oh, we'll shout this for you, Teo. We'll buy this for you. And I'll be like, I'm like, I can like pay for my own things. Like, I've always been one to pay for my own things. Like, I've been designed that way since, like, since I got a job when I was 19, right? 39 now, so that's 20 years, right? So I have been very independent like that. I don't like taking money from people, to be honest. I don't like that. I like the idea of having my own money. And that probably stems from the fact that I did not like my dad saying things like, as long as you live in this house, you obey my rules. As long as you live in this house and I give you money, you obey by my rules. So my whole mission in high school was like, get out of high school, get a job, because then no more rules and I can do whatever I want with my money. Anyway, getting sidetracked, digressing. But yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to slide that story in. If you are going to borrow money from someone to help you with things, make sure it's a trustworthy person, a person that doesn't have wounds around like money and poverty and stuff like that. Because what I realized from that experience, like that person had issues around money and also self-worth. And to make her look good, she wanted to paint me as the poor person. Even though I returned her money much earlier and I was not actually poor. I was doing okay at the time. But yeah, and she was the one that was struggling. That's why she had to get the money back soon, because she had all this debt. Right. And I was just like, that's interesting that you went and told this other person who came to me and made it seem like I was poor when you're the you're the one that's fudged up. Anyway, so yeah, that's just my little warning side story. But yeah, now, what was the other issues? Yeah, I don't know people. I don't have friends or connections who can get me into, this industry or this, yeah, this work or this job, or yeah, to just get me connected. And my answer to you is, well, then go out there, connect with people. It's so easy, right? It's so easy these days to connect with people. I mean, there's online platforms and yeah, there's all kinds of groups that you can join. So please don't make that excuse that you can't meet people. The door is open. It's like, you know, you guys understand how like the internet works, right? You can connect with so many people. So please don't say you can't. It's not, it's like, it's not, it's because, Mercury is in retrograde, so my speaking skills is really hard. I'm also a Gemini. I also have Mercury strong in my charts, so yeah. Another excuse. So people say, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to heal myself, blah, blah, blah. Well, dude, just go online. There's so much free information out there. So much free information. Like, look at this YouTube video. This is free information. And there's so many of us out there providing you with this free information and even like websites with instructions to do anything and everything. So please don't say you don't know where to start, because there's a lot of people, good, wonderful people out there who are willing to help you for free, who are giving free advice out of the goodness of their heart, out of their own experiences, knowing how hard it was to try to help you guys, to help lift you guys. So please don't say, I don't know where to start, because you can start online. You can. And instead of wasting your time scrolling through social media, stalking all these, you know, successful people that you wish you could be, spend that time researching. That's what I did. Like, I learned how to make candles. I learned how to make essential oil rollers. Like, I've learned how to cook, certain recipes. There's all kinds of things you can learn by going online. So please don't ever make that excuse that you can't or you don't know where to start, because yeah, Google is your friend. Yeah. What's another excuse there is out there? Just thinking. um what was the one that I mentioned? Oh yeah. I've tried everything. This excuse, right? People will be like, I've tried everything. And I bet if you were to sort of stop them, like, oh, you've tried everything, have you? Could you please list everything for me? And they'll only be able to name like 2, 3 things, maybe. Like, yeah. And, for example, let's say you have someone who's trying to get fit or lose weight, get into better shape, better fitness, health fitness, right? And then, they said they've tried every single diet there is out there to help them. And then when you ask them, oh, really? Which diets did you try? They'll be like, I tried keto and then this other one. And you're like, so to you, that is everything. Are you sure that's everything? And the truth is, if a person truly tried everything to improve a certain aspect of their life, let me tell you what, they wouldn't be standing there complaining, saying, I've tried everything, because they, hands down, would have found the answer. They would have found the answer. If you're trying everything, if you're doing everything in your power to achieve something, you will find the answer. Trust me, you will get there. There's no way you'd be stuck. And so I just feel like there's so many excuses being made. And like I said earlier in this video, a lot of it's because there's this fear of actual change, fear of moving forward, fear of the unknown, fear of entering new territory. But you've got to enter new territory if you want change, right? You've got to do different things. You can't just expect to sit at home complaining, or sit in the cafe complaining, wherever it is you go and complain to your friends about, and then expect your life to improve. Like, come on, guys, seriously, come on. And what I also wanted to highlight is making excuses for other people's success as well. And what I mean by that is discrediting another person's success, making the excuse that, oh, they're just lucky, that's why they are where they are, or, "Oh, she's pretty or he's handsome, they worked themselves up the ladder by using their looks. It's not their actual intelligence or skill sets," or like, "Oh, they slept with the manager," or, things like that, or, or people being like, "Oh, that's not her money, that's their partner's money. That person's a gold digger," or, yeah, things like that. It's just like, are you for real? Like, are you effing for real? And, I'm sure, well, not really sure, but I have a feeling that there are people who look at me and think that, I am a gold digger, or that I got everything handed to me, that my money is not my money. There are times I'm like, do you want to see my payslips? Do you want to see my bank statements? Do you want to come to work with me one day, or do you want to sit next to me and see how it is that I work? And I feel like anyone who has worked with me in, in the more recent years and like last decade will know. Actually, even in the past, will know that I'm actually a very skilled worker. I'm, yes, a bit of a workaholic. And yes, that is kind of a little bit of wounding, but I actually do like working as well. It keeps me busy, right? And yeah, but I just feel there are people who make these really effed up assumptions about where my money comes from, and they don't give me any credit. They prefer not to give me credit. They rather make excuses like I slept my way through my successes. I'm like, oh my God, how insecure are you? Like, seriously, how low vibing and toxic are you to actually say that? But yeah, I just thought it was funny. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know, but I have this feeling, and I'm really good with my feelings about what people are thinking about me. And yeah, and I'm sure people probably thought that I didn't pay for my wedding, or like like it was all my husband, or all the money from, the monetary gifts that we received, red pockets. But the truth is, one, our wedding was really expensive. Number two, we did not make any money from our wedding. Number three, we had 2 years to pay off a lot of the things, a lot of the deposits for our wedding, because our wedding was delayed due to COVID and all that. And I paid the same amount, or I put in the same amount, pretty much the same amount as my partner, right? And it was a large amount. And what people don't understand is my partner makes a lot more than me, but I was making a much less than him. And there was a certain point through that 2 year period where I was working only 3 days. So my finances shrunk for like 9 months. But that said, I'm smart with my money. I'm good with my money in the sense that I know how to pay off slowly. I know how to put money aside to pay off in installments. I've always been good with paying my bills and paying off loans. Like, I've never missed a loan payment. And, I think one of my first loans was in my early 20s for one of my cars. And yeah, actually, another thing I just want to talk about. I feel like a lot of I feel like within my family circles, like cousins and things, I feel like they think that my parents like bought all my cars for me, because I did change cars a lot. But the funny thing is, my dad only ever bought me one car. It was my first car, two-door Festiva, Ford Festiva. And it was a second-hand car, silver. And that was, yeah, when I was 19. And it was a $10,000 car. And I've never had a brand new car. I've only ever owned second-hand cars. And side note, second-hand cars are much better than owning new cars. Although these days I hear second-hand cars are really expensive. But anyway, um I have, yeah, my dad only ever bought me that one car. But every car after then, so I've had, I think, 2 or 3 Jazzes, and then I had an Alfa Romeo, and then my current car. But every other car I've had, since then is like my money. Like, I went and got loans by myself, and I was paying it off by myself. And it's really interesting to hear, or, get the feeling that, my uncles think my dad bought me all my cars, and then they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I feel like one of my uncles, he likes to project things on me, like why I spend money, and, I don't like, I'm wasting money and stuff. I'm like, I'm actually really good with my money, uncle. Like, I really want to say, I'm actually really good with my money, uncle. And please don't diss me or like project things onto me. Please realize that I've been working since I was 19, uncle. Please also know that yeah, I'm doing well now. Like, I get paid well. So I would appreciate it if you don't project. And just because you've been buying your kids cars and stuff the whole time doesn't mean my dad buys me cars. The thing is, I really looked forward to becoming financially independent, like free from what I would call my dad's grasps. Like, because when I was younger, my dad wasn't a horrible person, but he's quite strict, and he would say things that would really irritate me. Like, as long as you live in this house, as long as you get money from me, you abide by my rules, and, you use the money for whatever I tell you. Like, you can't use it for whatever. Like, he would make me feel really guilty if I took the money he gave me, which was like what, $20 a week, and went out to the city with it, like spent it on the bus and whatever. But yeah, and so a lot of my high school life, I was preparing myself in my mind. I would be telling myself things like, I can't wait to finish school and start working and making my own money. I really want to make my own money because I know if I make my own money, I don't belong to him. And, I know that sounds a bit like unfamily like, unloving to my father. I love my father, guys. Please understand. But I just don't like people controlling me. I don't like people treating me like I'm an object. Like, yeah, like it's like, dude, yeah. So I really wanted to work to make money so I could free myself from that feeling of being trapped. And yeah, and ever since then, I like having my own money. And what people also don't realize is that I don't have, like, I've been with my husband for 9, actually 10, almost 10, yeah, almost 10 years now. Oh, it's been a long time. So yeah, we've been together for almost 10 years, only got married just last year. Yeah, we're a bit slow like that. We're unconventional couple, okay? But yeah, and we've never had a joint bank account. I mean, he has given me one of his credit cards, but I've rarely used it. I've only used it like a few times for petrol, but that was like earlier in the earlier days. But really, I don't use his money. Like, yeah. So we have our own money, and when we're ordering Uber Eats, like it's his money, my money, and we order for each other, like for us together. And yeah, I just feel like I feel like there's an assumption that, yeah, I'm some kind of gold digger and rah rah rah. It's Yeah, I feel like people are always making excuses for my success. People are making excuses for where I am at, refusing to acknowledge that, hey, maybe Tayo is actually smart. Hey, maybe she's actually quite capable in the workplace. Hey, maybe she's not as dumb as she looks, or like as dumb as she makes herself out to be. And you know what? I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I know people who have worked with me know how capable I am. I know that there have been people who have worked with me who even felt threatened by how good I was at doing certain things, to the point that they were afraid that I would take their role away. Like, yeah. So to all the you people from the past who, are fixated on this old version of me, or the version of me that I showed you because I didn't feel comfortable showing this empowered, strong version of me, you need to stop making excuses, and you need to stop playing the victim. You need to stop blaming and really look at yourselves. And to all the people who have been playing the victim and making excuses for yourself, and reasons why you can't move forward, the truth is you can move forward, but you have to really want it, and you have to release these thoughts, these unhealthy negative thoughts that aren't helping you, like seriously. And I also want to like do a bit of a reality check as well, and just want people to know that success doesn't come easy. Like, it's not going to always be easy, right? And you need to remember that when you're looking at these idols or celebrities that, you're following, these influencers, there's a lot of work behind the scenes. Like, you're looking at the results, the end result of a lot of hard work. And you really need to start understanding that if you really want to change, then you're going to have to put in hard work. There are no shortcuts. I mean, I feel like the younger generation are like trying to feed the story that there are shortcuts, but I'm just going to say, no, there are no shortcuts if you really want long lasting success. There are no shortcuts, right? And those of you who take shortcuts, you can get the success, sure, you can, but I feel like it's not going to last. And the aim is long lasting success, right? Anyway, I hope this video made sense, and I feel like, as always, I'm all over the place. But yeah, I just want people to stop making excuses, stop playing the victim, and really lift your game, because it is possible. Like, trust me, I was that person that told myself the narrative, sold myself the narrative that I would never get anywhere, that I would always be a slave to everyone, that I was destined to be a servant making shit money. And that was the story I was telling myself for maybe what, 10 plus years, like from, from when I got a job, the first 10 plus years, because I've been working for 20 years, right? The first 10 years, I was telling myself that story, and then something shifted, and then I switched the narrative, and I was like, actually, I can. I can do well. I can do well in this job. I'm actually really good at this. Actually, I could probably excel in this. I could probably get more money from this. And I did. And then I did. And then I did. And within a time span of 10 years, in that first chunk of that 10 years, I would say I've doubled or maybe tripled my money. I can't even remember anymore. But I'm not rich, by the way. I'm not rich, but I am in a financially stable place. Not rich, just financially stable. And I'm smart with my money in the sense that I always put money aside to pay my bills. I'm not stupid. But yeah, I just want people to know this and to just believe in yourself and believe in your skill sets. Figure out who you are, what you're capable of, what you can and can't do. I think I have a video before about, knowing your identity and something like that, because I know that it was a video about self-awareness. Look for the one about self-awareness. And yeah, understanding what your skill sets are, knowing who you are. And when you know who you are and you combine that with the drive to achieve and, become courageous and fearless and, go out there and do things out of your comfort zone, then yeah, anything is possible. Anything is possible, but you have to believe in yourself and stop making excuses. Okay, guys? Anyway, I love you all and thank you for listening. I feel like I talked really fast today, but I will edit the captions to make it easier for you guys, okay? Thank you. Bye.